Vincenzo'S Gold Crypto Investing on a Saturday morning. Welcome. Join JABRONI killers, sidestep the criminal gangsters, and the market manipulators that are fleece heisting and shisting the retail investor, and really just screwing with their finances. And then when you try to go on and find some education and some knowledge on what's going on in the market, you just get a bunch of hypesters and charlatans and moon boys that sell you a bill of goods when you can just simply join JABRONI killers and you can audible that and sidestep it and diagnose, sniff out, and detect, and then start to understand how to technical trade and how to become a technical trader and to build a technical chart and to read the chart and learn how to diagnose and avert the charlatans and snake oil salesmen on YouTube and in the cryptocurrency sphere. As the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, it's really been full of charlatans out there just selling you a bill of goods, hundreds of dollars a month for nonsense, to try to fleece, heist, and shist you and get rich off of the back of you, while not really teaching you anything, right? But Vincenzo'S JABRONI killers, we teach you things. We go over the consumer price index, the monetary and fiscal disaster in the United States, because that's very important with crypto, right? We go over basic, super simple and easy technical trading rules to build a simple technical chart that any and everybody can use and understand to help you avert and subvert the market manipulators, right? And that's what we're about here at Vincenzo'S Gold Crypto Investing. Wow, that's a big emoji. And that's what I'm trying to do here. And it's a simple, affordable fee for all. There's lots of content. There's over 2.5 hours of members-only videos and 4 videos. Most of them are about 25 minutes long. And the first segment of Fiscal and Monetary Policy Friday was on wage and price controls, right? Or the first one was on the state of the market. The second one was on wage and price controls, right? That I think are coming in the Joe Biden administration and during the Joe Biden term, right? Because he's between a rock and a hard place, and I think he's going to implement wage and price controls leading up into the presidential election in 2024. He's already trying to do things with gas and energy leading up to the midterms because he's getting hammered right now, and the voters are going to blame the party in power for their standard of living declining more in the last year than probably at any other time in United States history. But that's for another discussion. Become a member of JABRONI Killers if you want to start to learn and how to make a simple technical trading chart to make it clean, easy to understand, simple trades based on what you're looking at on your chart that you built and you like, right? So you can see right now what we got is you got your major upper resistance in Ethereum. If it pumped way out of this rising channel in the next few weeks, would be up here, which would make sense up there at 47,000. We're going to put this on top of it at 4,478 because you're in this falling wedge, right? And falling in wedges or falling channel, the channel it's just as narrow or just as wide at the end as it is at the beginning, so that's why it's a channel. A wedge would look like that, not like that. A wedge would look like this, right? You come down, something like that, where it's wide at the end and a duck's beak, or wide at the beginning and a duck's beak at the end. They're essentially the same thing. This is a bearish continuation pattern, but it's a bullish bearish continuation pattern, meaning it's a bearish continuation pattern, so it's going to trade down for a long time, but eventually it's going to turn around and break up, and its technical target is all the way up here at the top of the wedge, right? Which coincides, if it pumped today, up here at the green ring of 44,000, but that's if it hits it on April 2nd. If it hit it up here, right, it would be, if it pumped up today, it would be 48,000, but if it waited to hit this ring until late spring going into early summer, it would be down here at 38,000. And if it waited till all the way at the beginning of summer, right, the first few days of summer in June, it'd be at 32,069, right? But in order to break this up, you got to come up and you got to break this descending channel, and then you would quickly and instantly wick up to the 200-day, right? So that'll be a phenomenal trade for somebody at some point in Ethereum. Just, it's when does it finally break out, right? If you think it's going to break out here and it comes down here and then finally breaks out and comes up to the moving average, it's a 43% move. But from where you bought in, it's essentially getting you back to break even. But if you wanted to play it safer, you play the breakout which would be up here, and then you play the run up, which you get 15%, and then if it breaks that, you play the run up higher, or you play the current pattern right now. And if you're not trying to play the pattern, there's different ways to play. You can play the current pattern, which is you sell resistance, you buy support, you sell resistance, you buy support, right? In this case, you got fucked, but then it came up. If you held, you sell resistance, would have broke you even. You buy support, you sell resistance, right? That's been the trend since, fuck, this thing's always in the way. That's been the trend since November 8th, right? So for about 4.5 months, the trend's been down, but it's been you buy resistance or support and you sell resistance, right? So that's the way you can play that. So if it come down here, you buy and then playing a run up, or you can buy the breakout where eventually this keeps dancing in here, but every time it comes to upper resistance, you pay attention, and if it breaks it with volume and it gives you the signal, you ride the pump up on the breakout, right? That's how you normally play a pattern. Or on the breakdown, say it came here and it shows you it's going to break down and have a huge flush, you buy the breakdown, right? But these eventually, whether it takes all the way till May and down in 1800 to make a full lateral pump, it's going to eventually at some point Ethereum pump up, because this is a falling channel, right? And it has to eventually meet its upward target, even if it's going to trade down after that, which it more than likely would, but there could be a quick pump, right? And you can see what that would look like. It would form almost a head and shoulders topping reversal. So come down here into the neckline more, right? Let's put a little support box. This is your neckline right now. And this is what Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing with his 3 easy indicators can help you technical trade and stop being fleece heisted and shysted to extreme and harsh degrees, right? But you can see this is your white support box, which usually we're going to change the color because we're going to use this as the neckline down here. You can see this is a neckline, but the white support box is usually our major volume indicator area. But in this case, this is going to be our neckline of what looks to be a head and shoulders topping reversal pattern, right? You have the huge pump, blow off top 1, crash, down to neckline, and then the head, huge pump. Now you're coming down the neckline, white, blue support box, come up a little bit. Now you got to come all the way into the neckline, maybe, and then you pump. See that? You form the right shoulder, and you can call that a triple top or a head and shoulders topping reversal pattern. And then you have a neckline there, and then the targeted move would be from the top of the move to the bottom, and that would be probably a 60% flush, right, from there. But that's what could be happening here. So we're going to put a price target down here at $1,800. And then we're going to put another price target right there at the top part of this support box at 2160. And this could be a pattern. So if we get down anywhere from 2167 to 1885, right, these are buying areas. This is a big buy area for a swing trade, right? Members of Jabroni Killers, I give you out ahead of this and give you first mover advantage. But if you bought it from the bottom and it rode to the top and got somewhere in here, that's an 80% gain. So this could be a potential swing trade area. I'll keep you updated. If there's anything imminent, Jabroni Killers will get the video. But this is something for you, the general audience, to see what Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing does with his members to keep them with the first mover advantage, right? As we go over what we think the medium and long-term patterns are going to be and diagnose them and try to sniff them out and figure them out beforehand, and then watch the price action to see if we're being validated or invalidated on our overall thesis of what we have going on here, right? So that's what we're looking at. To make sure this is still recording, 9/11, how convenient. That's what we're going to keep watching in the Ethereum, right? And if we look at the Bitcoin, it could be following sort of the same thing. I gave members of Jabroni Killers first mover advantage the other day. And you can see here in this easy pattern, this is another way. You can see this kind of looks like the Ethereum chart, right? If we zoom back out real quick, you can see we had huge pump, middle pump, trade back to neckline and white support box. And then if you traded back up and you form that triple top, or what it could be a descending triangle where you got your lower support, right? and you're descending upper resistance. But we showed you yesterday in a super simple, easy way, the way Vincenzo's Go Crypto Investing can do this for you, and can do this by far better than anybody else in the YouTube cryptocurrency, stock market, or commodity sphere. When we're technically trading, we put simple indicators up there and simple patterns that are obvious to be here, like this. This is an obvious pattern, right? Look at this. Yeah, it's a symmetrical triangle. Support, resistance, 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 resistance. Generally descending decides this little one. Support, 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 uptrending. That's a symmetrical triangle. Wider at the base, duck's beak at the end. Descending upper resistance, ascending lower support. Classic symmetrical triangle. And with three indicators, the moving averages, the 200, the 100, and the 50, the volume down here, right? And then our fib circles, simple, easy, clean, beautiful looking chart to make it easy to understand. Not a bunch of writing all over it, not a bunch of weird indicators all over it with some fancy gizmo nonsense. These are simple indicators to give you, yes, you. I'm talking to you right now, the retail trader. Simple instructions and something easy, an easy playbook to run for profitability. And you can see on Bitcoin, your key is you can buy support right now if you're playing the current pattern, and then you sell resistance, which is the upper blue ring and this descending green symmetrical triangle, right? So if you've been playing the pattern, buy support, sell resistance, right? And then it comes up, you get about the moving average, but down. Buy support, sell resistance. Buy support, sell resistance, right? You wouldn't have known to do it back here yet, right? You wouldn't have known that. But once you bounced here, came back and came up, grabbed it, you could have bought it and said, well, it bounced here, and it bounced there, right? And then when it came up to here, you could have been like, well, it sold off here and it sold off here. I'm going to short this down to these prior. So you could have known it if you were out ahead of it, right? It became obvious now here that you should be buying support, selling resistance, right? And now it's back down. And now some people might be trying to play the pattern again. And you could do that. You could buy support and be in the coin right now and have your stop loss below this orange ring, right? Below the orange ring that's descending and the green ring that's meeting, forming an X, or the Vincenzo quadrant special right here, right? Where you got support and resistance lines crossing each other, flowing in opposite directions. And you would have your sell loss below that to stop you out in case you break it and flush and come all the way down to a full lateral local double bottom from back here where the blue arrow is, right? So this is your pattern you're in right now, and your lower support where your sell zone would be is this orange ring along this uptrending support, because when you get up here, you could drip down and you could still hold that as support and then kick back up, right? That's why you want to be below this orange ring. And then if you're trying to buy a breakout, you put your buy order above this blue ring and this descending green upper resistance line on your symmetrical triangle. So if you trade up over here, once you get above the blue ring, there's your buy order, and you can try to play a run up to there, or if you think it's going to continue higher, you continue to play it, right? But that's for another time and another discussion. You can still see we have several weeks left, all the way to the end of March, the last day of March essentially. So on a day of a breakout, I would pick right where I have this here as a potential day for the actual breakout, where we're just floating in here, pump up, get rejected, pump down. This is where I think you're going to have a massive break up or the massive breakdown. Vincenzo's calling this pattern to break about the 23rd, between the 21st and 26th of March. This pattern will either break up or break down, right? And Vincenzo's Jabroni Killers got an in-depth video on how this price could pump up here with a 6.69% chance of happening, and how and why the price may come down here with a much higher probability. And then the question that everybody's been asking, what's going to go on after this? After this little pump or dump, what's your late season target? And we went extensively into why I think we have a 69.69% chance of hitting a late 2022 target of $13,336, right? That's what I think this late season target could be. 69.69% chance of happening, but we have a 6.69% chance of happening of pumping way up here to 53,000 first, and we went into that with members of Jabroni Killers on what we're correlating that with what happened back there and even back farther in the chart last year on how and why this could get here and then come way down, right? So become members of Jabroni Killers, sidestop the criminal gangsters and the market manipulators until we meet again on the next edition of Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing and sidestepping and audibling the criminal gangsters and the market manipulators. Peace and love. Peace and love.